WTWO's Beyond the Stands podcast is brought to you by Crow Equipment, Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, Snap Home Media LLC, Sycamore Insurance Associates. Here's your host, Rick Semler.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Stand. Of course, I'm your host, Rick Semler. We're in the dog days of summer, and what better sport to talk about than baseball? We're in the heart of the baseball season. I'll tell you what, a team you want to be talking about right now in the Wabash Valley, the Terre Haute Rex. They've been red hot, and joining me today is the owner and general manager of the Terre Haute Rex, Bruce Rosselli. Bruce, good to see you, bud.
Hey, good to see you, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Hey, I always enjoy talking with you. We could talk about a variety of things with you, but we're going to talk Rex baseball today. I guess, first of all, I talked about it. Your team is red hot. They've won 8 straight. They have currently tied for the longest winning streak in the Prospect League. Your ball club's hot. How much you enjoy watching them play right now?
Well, the reason I love watching them right now is their potential, and they've not even reached it. But a lot of times I've talked to the team after a game and tell them I think they're a double-digit run ball club. They should never, win by a 9-2, ratio. It should be like they have. The other day was 14-4. We have that kind of talent, and there are not a lot of these D1 players either. We have focused on a lot of NAIA JUCO players that's got 2-3 years under their belt, and they come in experienced. But they're grinding to be a D1 player.
That's putting some pressure on your ball club. Not only you expect them to win, but 10-run rule. Did the guys embrace that?
Well, it doesn't always have to be a 10-run rule, but they ought to at least score 10 or more runs. And I'll put that back on my son Tony. Tony said one day, he says, we should be undefeated. And I think that's just showing the player what we believe in them, that their potential is there. Now, you couldn't tell that to every ball club that we've had, but this is truly a good ball club.
Now, I mentioned you've won 8 straight, but this is nothing new winning this season. You guys have won since you've got this team together in late May. You won the first half division, Central Division title, which means you get to host a playoff game. First of all, just talk about what's it mean to win the first half division title.
Well, like, for instance, last year we didn't win the division until the second half, so we had to travel. And when you travel, you got, tired players, and the next day you got to go for this conference, and we had to travel all the way to Ohio, 4.5-hour bus trip. This year, by winning that first half, we host the first game on August 1st. We'll win that game, not if, but we'll win that game and then go to the day off for travel, and they'll come to us again on the 3rd and play for the conference. That other game for the championship, that's a double elimination. So best out of 3.
What's it mean for the guys? Like I said, we're in the dog days of summer, and it's a grind after playing the college baseball season. Now to know you're champs and you're going to get playoff games. Do you think that helps their motivation at this point in the season?
Well, it sure helps keeping them here, because there are a lot of players anymore get tired, and if they're not winning, they all of a sudden come up with excuse. Boy, my arm's a little sore. I think that has a lot to do with the getting in the portal, the NIL. I mean, there's no reason hiding it. It is what it is. It's out there, and they get to, maybe they'll leave. But I think with our team, for the most part, and I mentioned this before the start of the show, is that we had 19 players come back from last year. We went all the way to the championship game with Tony being the rookie coach. These guys see their potential. When we brought Ether back, they see the possibility of winning a ring this year.
You speak of bringing 19 players back, and in summer baseball, that is unheard of. Like in the past, what was the most guys you really had come back from season to season?
I'll go to a player and let's say it's you, and I'll say, Rick, you did really good. Mm-hmm. We love the way you play, your character, your host family, which host families are key in this league. Loved you. We'd like to have you come back. And you might have 6 or 7 guys say, yeah, I'd love to come back. And then, we start picking guys up in September, October. College coaches start calling us. By maybe midwinter, they've changed their mind. Their parents want them to go to a closer league. Their college coach wants them to go to a different a league as well. So we might have 3 or 4. to have 19 is just unheard of. And the other teams in the league heard about it, and it's like, oh boy. So, and we're backing up that with our wins ratio right now.
You guys are certainly backing it up right now so far this season, 26-11. I want to thank the sponsors of the show, Crow Equipment Incorporated, Snap Home Media LLC, Sycamore Insurance Associates, and Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, your 2018 American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning building, a higher standard award winner for quality and reliability you can depend on. Call Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, 765-832-9401. Now, you mentioned some guys back. I know Gabe Wright's one of those guys. Just talk about what he's fifth in the league in batting average this season. I think leading the league in stolen bases. Just what a machine he is out there for you guys this season.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't been picked up with another high-end D1 school. He started out at St. Francis. It's his third year here. Went to St. Francis and then got picked up in a D1 in Connecticut, I think. And now he's out there waiting to get picked again. And he's just a solid player. He's made some wonderful catches. Made top 1 player of ESPN's top 10 last year. We submitted some more this year he's made, but it's he's just a good solid hitter, and Tony's been working with him at Tony's hitting facility in town with a lot of these players. But Gabe is just picking it up, and with being here for 3 years in a row, it just says a lot about his character, and it says a lot about the Rex organization in this city.
Now, he's not the only great player to have. How about Wally Diaz? All the guy does is hit bombs. He leads the Prospect League in homers, won the home run derby the other night. The guy can just crush the baseball, can he not?
Yeah, he's doing really good. And what if, a first baseman, his glove is on. Tony keeps saying that he has got to be the best first baseman in the league. This guy weighs about 250, 260, and can completely do the splits, catching a grounder off the turf, and he's just that agile, and he's pretty quick for his size.
Wow. I can't do the splits, so kudos to him. So you got a couple other guys I want to talk about. Felix Polanco, second in RBIs. Talk about what he brings to the Rex.
Well, physical size alone, he's got to be intimidating to the pitcher when he comes up. Him and Jeremy Lara, to me, they look like twins because they're same size, same build, everything. And then you add Wally Diaz, but Polanco he's just a solid hitter, and just his stats speak for himself. So it's not always trying to go for the home run; it's the line drive to move. That's something that the coaching staff has talked about. Get on so the next guy can hit you in, not try to hit a home run and pop up and you're out.
What? Also talk about you got those guys, and then a couple Sycamores that are doing well for you this season. Nomar Garcia, and he's been on the highlights. You talk about sending highlights to Sports Center. He's turned in some ridiculous plays. And Braylon, Surreal, the Sycamore guys are contributing to the Rex this summer.
Yeah, and just think that they came in here from NAIA school, and Indiana State saw them without having to travel across. This is the sweet thing about the Rex and the Indiana State partnership we have, that our team, Coach Archuleta, in the past it was Hannes, could just walk across the street and watch these guys, not just the Rex, but the other players in 18 teams in the league, and say, hey, there's a good player there. And to take our 2 top players, a pitcher, Surreal, and Nomar, the shortstop, now they're one of the top players there. I mean, they just hit the ground running there. It's just, we're proud that Indiana State has them right now, and they're doing phenomenal.
Want to remind people different ways you can follow Beyond the Stands on Spotify, CastBox, Pocket Cast, and iHeartRadio. It's hard to believe. I've had the pleasure to cover the Rex many years. It's hard to believe it's been over 10 years since the Rex have been around. Where would you say the state of the Terre Haute Rex is at right now?
Well, we've won 2 championships, 15 and 18, and a lot of teams can't say that. There's some teams that's won 3 or 4, but to have 2 right now, and where we stand right now, I think we're one of the best in the every year. I think one year we kind of didn't do so well, but that's not bad. Actually, it's been 15 years because in 2010. Is when the Indiana State University Foundation started, back when Brian Dorsett was a head coach. That we took over in 14, so we're in our 11th year. It looks great. I mean, especially the things we offer at that stadium for nonprofits to come in, and we're doing something this year for Down syndrome kids. We've done Childhood Cancer Awareness Night, a lot of different things like that. I think the other important thing is, and this comes from the previous mayor, of the $40 million of tourism money that comes into the city, we're the highest entity of that, 1.5 to 2.1 million every summer. And that comes with, and you just thanked your sponsor. Our sponsors is what makes this partnership work. Me and my other partners, Brian Dorsett and Kevin Houlihan and Ray Kepner, we didn't do this to see our bankroll go up. It's about our investment to the city to have family, entertainment there.
And as a whole, Summer League baseball goes on all across the country. It's what people do. How would you say the Prospect League is doing and growing these days?
Well, we're, if you remember, there was only, under 10 teams when they started, and then when we got involved, it was around 12. There's 18 teams now in 7 states. Our footprint is really large. It's just unbelievable, just the bus money that we spend to get these guys. But our mission is to prepare them for the next level. And I always ask these guys, hey, how many want to go to the next level? And they all raise their hand, of course. And I said, well, if a 5-hour bus ride and 60 games or 56 games in 65 days is too much, I suggest you go back to your degree and go into that field, because it only gets worse.
And speaking of that, one guy that knows that all too well is the Rex manager, Tony Rosselli, your son. I guess first of all, let's just talk about, he's in his second year as the head coach of the Terre Haute Rex. But what's it like, throwing all the baseball aside, but just to work with your son day in, day out, to be around him? What's that father-son bond like?
Well, I'll start off with first, we took over this team in 2013. Tony was, at Indiana State with Rick Heller, and Rick Heller sent him out to the Wichita, Kansas League, 10 hours away. I was assistant coach, but unpaid speed and agility and strength coach. I didn't ask for, like, hey, Brian, can you get Tony in there? I just thought, hey, that's where coach wants to send him. It was the best thing for him because he played every day. The next year we bought the team, I heard that Hannes wanted him to play for the Rex, and I thought, boy, that doesn't look good. I'm part owner, GM, my son playing. But we didn't have a choice. That's who coach wanted him there. In D1, you can only get as many as 4 from one team. The first home game, second time up, he hits a home run in the cemetery. And I remember the late Bob Brown, my other partner, came up to me and said, you had nothing to do with that home run. You can say that to the naysayers. So it made me feel good. He went on to win the All-Star game. And he played 6 years of pro ball. That one year, Coach Hannes asked him to be a volunteer assistant coach for the team. So with that later put him in the Coastal Plain League, which, by the way, there's 75 summer leagues in the nation.
Wow.
We're ranked about 4th in the nation as competitive. Coastal Plain's number 2. Tony goes there where he played himself a couple years and nearly makes the playoffs. Brian, Kevin, Ray, everybody's like, why don't we just bring Tony here? Okay, here we go again. So for him to go in his first year with 18 teams, the largest ever in our league was last year, 18. He comes out of the second seed to win in the our division. We win the division against Danville. We go to Ohio and win the conference. That team beat us 4 games straight, but we won with Suriel at the closer. And then we go to the championship game and get beat by two runs. It made me as a GM look like a genius. Man, I just hired the best coach. But my point is, I knew he could do it, but when you work with him every day, he's a little demanding too on what he wants. And I had to remind him, you work for me, bud. But I mean, we try to get these players everything he'd like to have, and whether we're feeding the team and things like that we've done in the past. Remember, he played 2 years for us in 14, and in 17 is when he played and didn't get drafted, but he got picked up in the minor leagues. I tell you, let me just put it this way. I am impressed the way he brings this team together and the way he demands, accountability. If you're not hustling, I don't want to hear it. I don't want. You're not going to play. And he's called some of the best players out, and they come back and say, you're right. To have one player last year, who's now one of our assistant coaches, Gabriel Arroyo, came up to me mid-season and said, hey, he called me Jefe. He's from Puerto Rico, and Jefe means boss. I love Terre Haute. I love the Rex, and I just want you to know your son is the best coach I ever had.
Nice.
Now, here's a guy that his dad played in the MLB.
Okay.
And he said, I go, oh, yeah, well, yeah, what's the big difference? He said, he told me he believes in me, and I've never had a coach tell me that. So I went back to Tony, and I said, you never know what you say to a kid, negatively or positively, how it impacts them. So that, in turn, is somebody who Arroyos went to other schools and said, hey, you need to come to Terre Haute and play for the Rex. The fans are there, the sponsors are there, the team's glued together tightly, and to have pitchers like, let's just say Suriel pitched last night. We're going to travel away for 3 or 4 hours. Tony will say, hey, you don't have to travel. No, I'm going, coach. They all wanted to be together. That's really unheard of.
That's pretty cool. And obviously, I've known Tony for a long time,
Sure.
covered his career at Terre Haute North, playing football
Yeah.
and baseball, and then at Indiana State in his pro career. So, and these days, he's doing a tremendous job with the youth in the area. He works with so many kids, developing them. He's worked with my son. I can speak a lot of good things about him. He's just a positive influence in a lot of things he does. Now, exciting things coming up for the Terre Haute Rex, not just on the field or diamond what you're doing. Big weekend ahead on Saturday. You guys are honoring the 2015 Prospect League champs, the Terre Haute Rex, the first team to bring home a championship to the Rex. I guess, first of all, how bad did you want to do this, Bruce, and how bad did you want to get the team back and honor them?
Well, I think it's cool. I mean, and it's tough to, and I got to put a lot of credit to Bobby Siegel, the manager at the time, who's pretty much taken it on to contact all those guys. And to get, I think he's got 10 or 12 guys or more coming. Maybe it's more than that. And we're going to honor them, be on the field. I hope a lot of fans get there early. That's usually before the first pitch, that we would honor those guys. We're going to bring out the trophy that they won. It's still in my office. It's just cool to celebrate and honor those guys that, some of them went on to play big league, and some of them.
That was a great team.
Yeah, so it's cool, and it's hard to believe it's been 10 years.
I remember like yesterday, you beat West Virginia, and what was cool about it is you've won 2 Prospect League titles, but that one was at home.
Yeah.
So it was extra cool to see the fans out there. Just how special was that season for you and the Rex?
Well, we were just in our second season of ownership too. Bobby was in 14, did a really good job, and in 15 he had actually had a lot of good players that he had connections with, and also came back. It was just exciting to watch him, compete and do very well. Again, it was a very well, I think, closely knit team. That they wanted, if you're up to bat, Rick, we wanted you to get the hit. If I'm pitching, you wanted me to strike the guy out. That's the kind of team that encourages each other.
I remember from that team, it's crazy to think you play 60 games in the summer. They won 43 games.
That was a record.
It tied the Prospect record.
Actually, Cape came back and tied us.
Yes.
It's right now at the 43-17,
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
But the fact of, not only did you win, you guys dominated the league that season.
It was really dominating, and I know when Tyler Wampler was coach, they won 19 straight at one time. That was away and home combination, but to win 43 in one season is really tough.
And again, you're doing this Saturday night, bringing the guys back. How important is it, not just for the Rex to celebrate this, but to celebrate with the community and fans?
Well, again, it goes back to the tradition that we've got here. I remember coming into this league, and the commissioner at that time said, you're probably one of the best gyms in the league. Now, I took that, seriously, and I tell my team every year, coming from an Olympic sport, I remember at the Olympic Training Center there's a sign that says, "It's a privilege to train here, not your right." And I bring that here. And with that tradition, I always ask them, hey, you're going to be a rock star here in town. You hit a home run, you're in the paper. You hit a walk-off hit to win the game, you're in the paper. If you get a DUI, you're in the paper. And so this is going to resonate all the way to your parents, your head coach in college. We don't want that. We're here to train. And I don't want our sponsors to be, embarrassed over this. And this is why we push this and have a high standard. And I think we still stay that way with everything we do within the Rex organization, whether it's our host family coordinator, Ms. Holmeyer in Paris. She does a great job putting these families together. Our host families, gosh, you can't believe how important it is to have a player come out of nowhere and stay with the family and throughout the season. But it creates a long-term relationship that I can relate to it, because Tony went to his first one in Wichita, Kansas, and then later went to North Carolina for 2 years, and then in pro ball. And I'm telling you, when he gets married next year, those host families will be there. They're still connected with him. So to see Tony hit a home run at a game in pro ball, and have the host family text me and say, "Did you see that bomb?" So that's the way it is with awesome. A lot of the host families in here, and I'm real proud of that.
That's pretty cool. That is definitely pretty cool. I want to thank our sponsors again of the show: Crow Equipment Incorporated, Snap Home Media LLC, Sycamore Insurance Associates, and Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning. One thing I've really liked seeing over the last few days, the MLB draft took place. Pretty cool. Several former Rex players got drafted. You mentioned this earlier, of those pro dreams and chasing those. How exciting is that to show guys, hey, like, You may think this is nothing right now, but this is building towards the future, and you can get drafted.
Well, it has a lot to do with your character and personality here. It's just like a job reference. Somebody calls you about somebody, and I'd like to talk a little bit more too about our intern staff. It's the same thing there. If a coach calls us about a college D1, or maybe we have a lot of connections in minor league. Hey, what's this player like? Well, I'm not going to stick my neck out for a guy that's, playing 50%. I don't care how good he is. I'm going to give my opinion. So that goes a long way with how you act here and how you play and what's your prior workout schedule and things like that. And again, you just mentioned we had several of these guys got drafted, and we're proud of them. We post them about where they come. One, I think, Cole Dilley he got signed,
and the Phillies.
Jared
Spencer.
Yeah, he was at Texas, and I mean he's got a brother still, I think, here at ISU. So the twin, but this is the grassroots that puts you in there later down the road.
Now, I want to go back to. We talked about it. You've won the division. You get a playoff game. Again, reiterate, nothing like August baseball. It means you're playing in the postseason. How important is it you get a home playoff game? You want to bring fans out there to make this a tough atmosphere. Make I don't want to say a plea, but one last thing. You got a couple weeks before the postseason get here, but how important you need not just Terre Haute, but the Wabash Valley to come out and support this team come postseason.
Well, that's the big key, is we could get a big turnout. And this year, unlike last year, we won the conference at 4.5 hours away at like 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday, and had to be ready to promote a game on Monday. Monday's not always the best day to have fans, but you know what? This is Terre Haute. They want to come for a winning, help support a winning team. This year it's going to be a Friday night, August 1st, and our game will start at 6:30. We need all the fan support out there. That place holds 2,000. Last year, Great Dane bought a game out, and we had 3,300.
Wow.
That's our record out there for anybody in that stadium. But we need to support this team. And I mean, they say we're for Terre Haute. I hope they can come out. And then if we win that, when we win that game, the third should be the conference championship. We're ahead of those teams in that league on the win-loss record. So. We're just hoping that we keep going to have the better record to finish up, like you said, the last two games here for the championship game.
Well, Bruce, I always appreciate your time. I know you're a busy man. Anything you want to add before I let you off the podcast?
We just started looking. I don't know if you see my logo with the Texas Road.
I like it.
The T-Rex logo with the dinosaur.
Take it off and show it in the camera right there in front of you.
Yeah, we sold out on these hats.
It's a good looking hat.
Yeah, it's a little dinosaur that my daughter Paige come up with the design. But we've always had Rex Coffee years back. They don't no longer make that, and we had Slugger as our our mascot. But we started implementing T-Rex, and the kids love it on T-shirts, hats. Tony likes it for the BP shirt, just a little bit like a strong-looking logo. And I think next year we'll come out with a new mascot. So just something to look for in the merch.
Well, again, I always appreciate you coming in, Bruce. And keep in mind, Terre Haute Rex has still got a couple of weeks left in the regular season, then postseason baseball in August. They've been the top team in the Prospect League this season. You want to go out and watch them as they try to bring home the third Prospect League championship in franchise history. That does it for this edition of Beyond the Stands.
WTWO's Beyond the Stands podcast is brought to you by Crow Equipment, Andrews Heating and Air Conditioning, Snap Home Media LLC, Sycamore Insurance Associates. Catch this episode again and more of Rick's interviews online at mywabashvalley.com.